How to complete Form I-131. Type or print clearly using black ink. If you require additional space to answer any question in this application, use the section provided in Part 13, Additional Information, or attach a separate sheet of paper. At the top of each additional sheet, type or print your full name and alien registration number, A number, if you have one. Clearly indicate the page number, part number, and item number that your answer refers to. Sign and date each additional sheet you include. Complete all questions fully and accurately. If a question does not apply to you, for example, you are not married and the form asks for your spouse's name, type or print NA, unless the form gives different instructions. If a question asks for a numeric response and your answer is 0 or none, for example, how many children do you have or how many times have you left the United States, type or print none, unless directed otherwise. Specific instructions. This application consists of 13 parts. Part 1. Application type. Item numbers 1 through 4. Check the appropriate box to indicate the purpose of your application. You may be applying for one of the following: a reentry permit, a refugee travel document as an asylee, refugee or lawful permanent resident who was granted asylee or admitted as a refugee, a travel authorization document if you are an alien currently holding temporary protected status. Item number 5. This section covers the advance parole document for individuals currently inside the United States and advance permission to travel for CNMI long-term residents. Select the box that correctly represents the category under which you are applying for an advance parole document. If your specific category is not listed on the application, but USCIS has announced eligibility for a particular category on its website, select Other. Then enter the appropriate code or designation provided by USCIS in the text field. For example, enter XTUV for a specific parole process or QRS applicant if that designation applies. Item number 6. Initial parole document for individuals currently outside the United States. Select the correct box if all of the following apply to you. You are outside the United States, or you are applying for parole for someone who is outside the United States. You are applying for parole for the first time, also known as initial parole, either for yourself or on behalf of someone else. You are applying under a specific program or process, such as the Filipino World War II Veterans Parole Program, the Immigrant Military Members and Veterans Initiative, the Intergovernmental Parole Referral by a U.S. government agency. If the category you are applying for is not listed on the form, but USCIS has announced eligibility for a specific initial parole category on its website, select Other. Then write the appropriate code or designation from the USCIS website in the text field. For example, enter XTUV for a parole process or QRS applicant if that designation applies. Item number 7. Initial parole document for individuals outside the United States, not under any special program or process. Select this box if you are outside the United States or applying on behalf of someone who is, you are applying for initial parole, and you are not applying under any special parole process or program announced by USCIS. Items number 8 through 9. Initial request for arrival and departure record for parole in place for individuals inside the United States. Item 8. Select this box if you are inside the United States and are applying for parole in place for yourself or on behalf of someone else as a current or former member of the U.S. military or under a specific program such as the Family Reunification Task Force, FTRT, or another PIP process designated by USCIS. Item 9. Select this box if you are applying for PIP for yourself or another person inside the United States, but not under any special program or process. Items 10 through 11. Arrival departure records for re-parole requests for individuals inside the United States. Select the appropriate box if you are inside the United States and are applying for re-parole, a new period of parole, for yourself or someone else who was initially paroled into the United States. Item 10. Choose this box if the individual was initially paroled under a specific program or process, such as OWA, U for U, CAM, FTRT, military PIP, or another USCIS announced process. Item 11. Choose this box if you or the individual you are applying for was not paroled under any special program or process. Item 12. If you selected item 10 or 11, enter the Admit or Paroled Until date in MMDDYYYY as exactly as shown on your or the individual's Form I-94 Arrival and Departure Record. Part 2. Information about you. Item 1. Your full name. Provide your current legal name as shown on your birth certificate unless it has been legally changed, for example, through marriage or a court order. Do not use a nickname. Item 2. Other names used. List all other names you have ever used, including aliases, maiden names, and nicknames. For each name, include the date of birth associated with that name. If you need additional space, use Part 13, Additional Information. Item 3. Current mailing address. Safe address if applicable. Provide the address where you wish to receive mail about your application. If you are a VAWA, self-petitioner, a T, trafficking victim, or a U, crime victim applicant, and you do not feel safe receiving mail at your home, you may list a safe address such as a P.O. box, friend's address, attorney's address, or community organization assisting you. Note, USCIS cannot mail travel documents to foreign addresses. You may be required to pick up your document at a U.S. Embassy, consulate, or USCIS International Field Office. Item 4. Current physical address. If your physical address differs from your mailing address, list the address where you currently live. Item 5. Alien registration number, A number, if you have one. Provide your A number, which begins with an A and is used by USCIS to identify your immigration records. If you do not have one, print NA. USCIS will assign one. Item 6. Country of birth. Use the current name of the country of your birth. Do not use old or local names. Item 7. Country of citizenship or nationality. Provide the name of the country where you are a citizen or national. If you are stateless, type or print stateless and give an explanation in Part 13, Additional Information. Item 8. Sex. Indicate your sex as listed on your birth certificate or other acceptable evidence. Item 9. Date of birth. Enter your date of birth in MMDDYYYY format. For example, May 1, 1958, write 05/01/1958. USCIS will reject your Form I-131 if no date of birth is provided. Item 10. U.S. Social Security number, if any. Provide your Social Security number or write NA if you do not have one. USCIS online account number, if any. You will have an OAN only if you previously filed a form with a receipt number beginning with IOE. You can find it in your online profile or the account access notice sent by USCIS. This number is not the same as your A number. For applicants requesting TPS, advanced parole, renewed parole, or parole in place, items 12 through 15. Item number 12, class of admission. Enter the code shown on your Form I-94, such as PAR. You may obtain a copy of your Form I-94 from www.cbp.gov/I-94 or by filing Form I-102 if necessary. Items 13 through 14. Form I-94, Arrival and Departure Record. Provide your I-94 number and the expiration date of your authorized stay. Item number 15. E-Medical USP ID USP ID, if any. Enter your E-Medical USP ID if applicable. Items number 16 through 27, information about the individual you are filing for. If you completed Part 1, item number 6 through 11, and are filing for a document on behalf of another person, you must provide their full name, their current mailing and physical address, their most recent Form I-94 Arrival and Departure Record number, and their class of admission as shown on their I-94. Part 3. Biographic information. If you are applying for yourself, complete this section with your own biographic information. If you are applying for someone else, complete the section for that person. Providing accurate information here can help reduce processing time at your USCIS Application Support Center, ASC, appointment. Item numbers 1 through 2, ethnicity and race. Select the boxes that best describe your ethnicity and race. Ethnicity and race categories and definitions. Hispanic or Latino. A person of Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, South or Central American culture or origin, regardless of race. This category only appears under ethnicity. American Indian or Alaskan Native. A person with origins in any of the original peoples of North or South America, including Central America, who maintains tribal affiliation or community attachment. Asian. A person with origins in the peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, or the Indian subcontinent. For example, Cambodia, China, India, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Pakistan, the Philippines, Thailand, or Vietnam. Black or African American. A person with origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. A person with origins in the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or other Pacific Islands.
White. A person with origins in the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Item number 3. Height. Enter your height in feet and inches, for example, 5 feet 9 inches, to 5 for feet and 09 for inches. Do not enter height in meters or centimeters. Item number 4. Weight. Enter your weight in pounds. If you do not know your weight, or if it is under 30 pounds or over 699 pounds, enter 000. Do not enter your weight in kilograms. Item number 5. Eye color. Select the box that best describes your eye color. Item number 6. Hair color. Select the box that best describes your hair color. Part 4. Processing information. Item number 1. Indicate whether the person who will receive the parole document, travel document, or Form I-94 has ever been in immigration court proceedings. Item numbers 2A through 6B. Indicate whether you have ever been issued a reentry permit, refugee travel document, or advance parole document, and list the date it was issued. Month-day-year, 4 digits. If you are requesting a replacement, state the reason. For example, damaged, incorrect information, lost, or stolen. If you are requesting a correction, describe what needs to be corrected. For all replacement requests, include the receipt number for the Form I-131 related to the document you are replacing. If the document is damaged or contains errors, return the original with your request. Replacing a document that was issued but never received. If USCIS or the U.S. Postal Service made an error that prevented you from receiving your document, you will not need to pay a new fee. If the issue occurred because of your own error, a new fee is required. Replacing a lost, stolen, or damaged document. If you are replacing a reentry permit, refugee travel document, advance parole document, or TPS travel authorization document that was lost, stolen, or damaged, you must submit a filing fee. Before submitting your request, check your case status online at uscis.gov/case status or call the USCIS Contact Center at 800-375-5283 TTY 800-767-1833. Item number 7A. If applying for a reentry permit or refugee travel document and you want your document mailed to your U.S. address, select this box. Item number 7B. If you want your travel document sent to a U.S. Embassy, U.S. Consulate, USCIS International Field Office, or DHS Office Overseas, provide the appropriate address here. Item numbers 9A through 9C. If you would like to be notified when your document is ready for pickup at a U.S. Embassy, Consulate, or DHS USCIS Field Office, provide your mailing address, telephone number, and email address. Part 5. Complete only if applying for a reentry permit. Item number 1. Indicate how long you have been physically outside the United States since becoming a lawful permanent resident. Part 6. Complete only if applying for a refugee travel document. Item numbers 1 to 2. Provide the country from which you received refugee or asylee status. List the country that served as the basis of your status approval, even if it differs from your nationality or citizenship. Indicate if you plan to travel to that country using your refugee travel document. Item numbers 3A through 6C. State whether you have returned to the country from which you sought refuge, received any benefit like health insurance or travel document from that country, acquired a new nationality in a different country, or been granted asylum or refugee status in any country other than the United States. Part 7. Information about proposed travel. Complete only if applying for an advance parole document, Part 1, Item number 1. Item numbers 1 through 3. Provide details of your planned travel, including intended departure date from the United States, purpose of travel, countries you plan to visit, the number of trips the document will be used for, and the expected length of your trip, in days. Part 8. Complete only if applying for initial parole, parole in place, or re-parole. Item number 1. Reason for parole. Explain clearly why you qualify for parole, parole in place, or re-parole. If you need more space, use Part 13, Additional Information. Attach supporting documents or evidence showing you or the person you're applying for meet the criteria and merit a favorable decision. Describe the urgent humanitarian reason or significant public benefit supporting your request. Examples of acceptable evidence are available at www.uscis.gov/humanitarian/humanitarian parole/guidance on evidence for certain types of humanitarian or significant public benefit parole requests. Item numbers 2 through 3B. State how long you or the person you're applying for intends to stay in the U.S., their intended arrival date, and the U.S. Embassy, Consulate, or USCIS International Field Office you wish USCIS to notify. Part 9. Employment authorization for new period of parole, re-parole. Item number 1. If you were previously paroled into the United States and are now requesting a new period of parole, re-parole, you may request employment authorization with this Form I-131. This option is not available for individuals seeking initial parole. Part 10. Applicant statement, contact information, certification, and signature. Item numbers 1 through 4. You must sign and date the form. Include your daytime phone number, mobile number, and email address if applicable. If a parent or legal guardian signs on your behalf, that is acceptable. Note, a stamped or typed written name cannot replace a handwritten signature. Part 11. Interpreter's contact information, certification, and signature. Item numbers 1 through 6. If you used an interpreter to read or explain this form to you in a language you understand, the interpreter must complete this section and sign and date the application. Part 12. Preparer's contact information, certification, and signature. Item numbers 1 through 6. If someone other than you completed this application, that person must sign this section. If the same person served as both interpreter and preparer, they must complete Part 11 and Part 12. A stamped or typed written name is not acceptable in place of a signature.